Hello, everybody. Chuck Licata with Big Daddy Media here, and interrupting your summer to start a series of interviews with Texas girls high school volleyball coaches. That's right. The UIL softball tournament is just over, and we're jumping into volleyball because as we are excited about volleyball and the upcoming season, you're going to find out that the coaches we talk to are just as excited and would like to start volleyball tomorrow. Hey, proud to be working with the folks at Texas Girls Coaches Association. We are doing these interviews in concert with TGCA, so we appreciate them being on board as well as we bring you the first of our interviews. And coming up right now, you're going to hear our interview with Terri Wade of the Woodlands. Enjoy the interview, and we look forward to your feedback.
You know, it may be the Texas heat. We're getting to be 90s and 100, and it's hot outside, and everybody's looking at the summer. But you know what? We don't care. We want to talk volleyball. We want to talk volleyball right now as we start our series of interviews along with TGCA, Texas Girls Coach Association. I am Chuck Licata, and Butch Hart will be joining us here sooner or later. And I guess I don't say favorites because – you know, nowadays people get offended, you know, oh, you didn't say me, whatever. But the one constant I've had since I've started in volleyball in particular for the last 15 years is this lady right here, Terri Wade, head coach of the Woodlands. Always great to talk to her as she will start off our series of interviews. And first and foremost, you know, I talked about 15 years. It's been about 8 years that I've been begging you to show the hat, and we have the hat. What happened here?
I know you loved that hat. You saw
I love the hat. Absolutely. Yep. In fact, it was at one of the first times I met you was at Volleyball when Jacob Thompson started Volleyball at Rouse, and you wore a hat, I think, for the semifinal match or something like that. Was that it?
Yeah, I had on my plaid hat, my plaid Highlander hat. So, yeah, it seems to be like it's not really the hat. It's like the luck, but the plaid. So I had to have a plaid,
okay.
You know, for a Highlander pride.
All right. So are we gonna see the plaid hat sometime this year, or are you gonna tease us for another year?
I don't know. I only bring it out in tournaments. Got to be more professional for game day, but
okay, really? You talk about professional. Yeah, Jacob Thompson for his district and playoffs wears the sweater vest. I mean, come on, really? You're going to say a hat's not professional? Come on now.
Fix my hair. You know, I can't pretend that every day is a bad hair day. I got to fix my hair. So.
There you go. There you go. How are you, by the way? How's everything going?
Doing great. You know, you're talking about the summer heat. I'm back indoors, getting away with our, summer camps, our youth, you know, the littles. I go all the way from kindergarten up to 8th grade in our summer camps. So
that is so cool. That's one of the great things about covering volleyball is when you right after school. There's usually, you know, most programs hold their camps. And you get to see the lighter side, you know, because you take volleyball so serious when you're with the winning program, you know, like the Woodlands. It's serious. Even in your tournaments, you're, you know, okay, how can we improve? How do we win? You and the girls and your staff get a chance to kind of kick back and have some fun with little kids and teach them at the same time.
Oh yeah, we do. You know, I have some girls that will volunteer, some alumni that come back to work camp. It's always, you know, fun for the bigs and these littles, you know, the tiny little campers out there doing their best. They're pretty good, you know. I see these little 3rd graders just like passing nails and stuff. So we're just keeping the future strong.
Yeah. Well, you've been there since 2015, entering your 8th year as the head coach of the Woodlands. And as we will say in the media, you know, Terri Wade and her coaching staff at the Woodlands, they don't rebuild, they just reload. And I'm sure that's annoying sometimes. And I know despite the fact that your colors include red, you walk out with that big red target on your back, especially when we have regular tournament season play. Talk about the pressure to win, because I mean that's the funny thing when you talk to these coaches. You know, Karen Keeney up at Hebron, Kate building, Kate Zora building, you know, the legacy at Klein now. You want to win, but when you do that, now you set the bar up here, and you know the standard's high, and there's pressure. I mean, the girls will talk about it. We talk with girls that, you know, are in great programs like yours over the years, and they walk out and they know there's pressure on them to win, and they know that teams that maybe aren't winning at that time are shooting, you know, everything they can at you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't really see the pressure on my team so much until we get to the playoffs, you know, because I think they start every season just kind of feeling like we're going to win. You know, they know that they've prepared, they spent all this time in off season, they've gone through their long club seasons, they just feel prepared, like they're ready to step in and win. But the pressure comes at, you know, the edge of the playoffs there when you start winning games, and they want to go further than the last team, you know, or they all want to go chase after that state title, and it stops becoming the have fun and just go play your game, and you know, we got to make the next game instead of just keep playing the way you have been all season. So that's the only time I really see pressure on them, or them change their attitudes about the game, is right when we get into playoffs.
Now, what do you tell the girls when you're, you know, August 1st now has become the date, you know, for the first day of practice? Between the first day of practice and then the first tournament, the first weekend of you know, real tournaments, be it, you know, Pearland or Plano or whoever's hosting that first week, what do you tell the girls? Because you got the veterans who know what the standard is, and usually I would imagine walk in and kind of know what the routine is with everything. And then you got the young ones, you know, that either played junior varsity or freshmen. And, you know, you kind of got to start training them, not just physically and on the volleyball court, but in the mindset. What do you tell the girls? I mean, you've got wide variety. Do you kind of section them off, or do you, you know, work with them together, or do you do both?
Well, starting off, getting ready for these tournaments, they're super competitive, like even more so than, you know, yes, we have a really competitive district, but playing that many competitive games back to back in that preseason tournament, really, they're not even so focused on winning. We're talking about what we're going to do to get better, you know, to improve each game. And you get to turn around and make changes quickly when you have several games in a row in that tournament weekend. So I think that their mind is more on getting better each game, and a little less pressure on the newbies. Even they just see that we're playing here to improve every time we step on the court. You know, that we got to see our weaknesses and know how to fix that through district, and you know, all those games are showing them. So I think I just try and let them focus on the moment and what we're doing now, and what we can do the next game to improve. So we're not even thinking about the long run. And so for those new players that come in, you know, that takes the pressure off them for sure. And I seem to always have a really good group of returners. I think that's the solid that keeps us going. We have a good group of returners. Like I don't think I've had less than 7 seniors on a team yet. So just having that group, and whether they were all players that were starting and playing every second, it didn't matter. They know the traditions and the expectations, and they've been through it. So just having that good group of returning players each season is what kind of keeps the tradition going, and keeps the underclassmen kind of focused and not worried or scared, because they have all these upperclassmen to help them through it.
Right. I'm Chuck Licata. She's Terri Wade with the hat. Don't get used to this, okay? She's not going to be wearing a hat too often, but it's good to see her with the hat. You know, 2020 was such a bizarre year, and we're not going to dwell on it. But the one thing I'll always remember about 2020, it stopped club ball. You all didn't play half the matches that you normally do in a high school season. And all the coaches in the playoffs up to state when we were covering state. At least I covered the first round of state. Second round of state I missed because I had COVID at the time. But talking to the 4A, 5A, 6A coaches, there was a little bit of relief because the girls weren't so beat up. They didn't play so many matches. They didn't have so many matches on their legs. And it was a huge difference. Now, the one thing the coaches said at the time said, and feel free to jump in after I finish up, was the fact that at this point, when you're through district, you played maybe 20 some games. Normally you play 30 some before you even get to district. So you didn't have that seasoning. You didn't have that court time together. But at the same time, I know a lot of coaches said they were happy because the girls didn't have so much wear and tear. And as a result, they had players in their lineups that they normally don't have, or the girls that were in the lineup didn't have the usual nicks and cuts and bruises that they normally do at that time.
Yeah. I think definitely they felt refreshed physically and mentally. And plus they were just excited to get back to doing things, So
right.
So there was that excitement because for them, volleyball's year round. They don't stop ever. It just keeps going. So having that time off to focus on themselves and not worry about, the next trip, being recruited or, those different pressures, all they were really thinking about was spending time with their family. And so when they got back, I think they were well rested and just ready to go. And that's something that they never truly get, with my players. I'm not going to say that I force a rest. I don't. I encourage them to rest, and I don't give them opportunities. If you're giving them the opportunity to play, they're going to play because they feel like they have to. So I try to just keep things off the schedule, because they are doing their club stuff over the summer. So I'm just rest, go do something fun with your family. Go hang out, go be a kid. You can be successful. You don't have to play volleyball every minute to be successful at it, And they saw that after COVID, wow, you had some time off and you still came back playing volleyball strong. So I think they kind of believe that a little bit now that, you actually can take some time off.
So did we learn that? I mean, actually, let me rephrase that. We did learn that, but are kids are there some kids just kind of leaning on that? Have they learned their lesson, or do we still have this club is, year round, then you play high school volleyball. The girls are getting the high school season and they're pretty beat up and they've got some, lingering effects, and you have to give them some time to rest. So, they're up for the season.
Yeah. I think they learned that they can take time off and feel good, but like I said, you have to give them the opportunity to have time off. And, right now I have some kids that'll come help me with my little kids camp or just come to be there because they feel good about being in the gym with the littles that look up to them. So they love just being there and being a part of it. But then they'll tell me, well, I can't really come the rest of the week. We have practice or we have another tournament, and they're exhausted and they're just kind of letting me know that they're ready for volleyball season to end and it still hasn't ended. And, they're tired mentally, physically, everything. And like I said, they know that it's important to have time off, but they feel pressure to continue because there's an opportunity. And especially their club season, of course, they're paying for that. So they're not going to miss. They're going to show up.
Right. So is this a problem? I mean, is this something that maybe we can sit down and say, okay, let's see if we can adjust. I don't know what you adjust, schedules, you adjust playing time, something, so the girls aren't so beat up. I mean, and is that the problem? Are they beat up, or is there something else that I'm not seeing here between club and high school? Because I know when I got really involved, especially with Butch, 10, 15 years ago, there was contention between club and high school. And there still kind of is, although, it seems at least it's smoothed out just a little bit, but there still seems to be a little contention between club volleyball and high school volleyball.
I think it's kind of mild. It's not so harsh, the contention between the two, but it's still there because, we're kind of like, I'm wanting my kids to relax and have fun and have rest, and they're telling me, well, I still have practice 3 times a week, and we have another tournament, and now we have a warm-up tournament for the nationals, and so they actually just want to go have fun with their friends. They want to go to the beach. They want to go out of state. They want to travel. They, do normal kid things or whatever. But they don't have those opportunities. So their minds are just getting like weighed down by like the thought of having another practice, the thought of having another commitment when they don't get that rest. And when high school season starts, yeah, we go every day of the week. Unlike club, we are every day except for Sunday. We're playing every day of the week, and I think that takes a lot of them. But it comes to an end, like it stops. So they know that we're going to work for this one goal, and there aren't multiple levels of this goal. Like in club, you have the open nationals. Everyone wants to play there, but only the best teams get to play there. But you have different levels of nationals and another level and another level. And some levels you don't have to qualify for. So it can just keep on going with no end. But, like I said, comparing to high school season, there's only one goal. And we know that it will end on that date, and you'll be done and you'll get to rest, except they don't. They go straight to their club practices. So, I think it's a problem in the fact that there is no real governing body over the club season. There are no rules and regulations on when you can start, when you can end, and that's something we always consider in high school because we have the mind of take care of the kid first. We don't practice over 8 hours a week during the school week and stuff, and we have a limit to the number of games we can play and stuff like that. But when you get to another realm where nothing has a rule, a time limit, I feel like you're kind of taking advantage of, the child and the time that they have away from school and, away from other activities that they enjoy being in. So it is hard because it's just not set in stone and nobody is limiting it.
Mm-hmm. So what would be a possible solution? Any solutions at the moment that you can think of?
Well, I mean, sure, I have lots of solutions, but
but we don't have that much time, right?
Yeah, this side of it, I wish that they would have holidays off and that you couldn't have, for instance, there is always going to be an Easter weekend tournament, and I would be against that. I'm saying, knowing full well when I was in high school, I played that Easter weekend tournament too. But I would love to just give holidays off to kids, and let them even have the summer, some of the summer where they don't have to be up in the gym. Like if you put it back into their hands and say, hey, we have the gym available. If you want to come play, they're going to play. They will come play and they'll get to do other things too, and they'll have fun. But, if you make it mandatory and we're going to be at these times and this many times a week and all that, they start kind of not looking forward to being there because it's something to do. And so I just think that we could limit the season for one, that it shouldn't have to be a full year turnaround, just keep going. And I know that it kind of ends in July, but then they have tryouts as soon as they're done. And then we start with our high school team camps. And then, we're playing tournaments the first 3 weeks of season or the first 3 weekends there. And some of my players will actually have club practice on Sunday. You know, after they just got beat down playing the most competitive tournament, back-to-back games, they go have practice again on Sunday. And, you
Right.
know, that's not one day off in the weeks. I don't know. I just think that we should have like a dead period almost where, you know, in between seasons and overlapping seasons, such. So I always take into account in my off season too that
Mhm.
my kids are going to qualify, and you know, I know that I'm going to have a. I'm very fortunate that about 99.9% of my kids play club. You know, they are very experienced players. But then that means like that one week in practice on a Thursday, Friday, I might have 12 kids there out of 45. I'll
Mm.
only have because they're all gone to a club tournament.
Right.
So that's crazy to me. But they're missing out on kid opportunities, missing out on school. That's hard too, especially when you have exemption rules that you can't miss so many classes to be exempt, and you know they're very high standards academically, and so it's hard. Like a kid earned this right to be exempt, but they missed too many days of school because they went to 5 qualifiers out of state. You know, so I just think that it's just a little too much for me, you know, and I can't even keep up with coaching club. So it means I work. I don't have enough days as a teacher to miss work that many times to coach club, and you know, so
Right.
I
And
hate
by the
that.
way, there's families and other stuff going on in your life too. So
Yeah,
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 understood.
it's a
Understood.
lot.
Hey,
And
I'm
I,
really looking forward to seeing the Woodlands at the N Northwest ISD Classic.
yeah,
Big Daddy Media will be there to cover that tournament, and man, what a great field that's going to be. 32 teams, you know, some of the best in the biz will be at that tournament. And like we were talking about before, you get a chance to kind of really get a feel for where you stand just 2 weeks in because you're playing such great competition.
oh yeah, and this will be great. You know, a different tournament that my players have never been to. So, you know, I know they'll be excited about seeing some different competition. So, yeah,
I'll guide you around. I'll guide you around, and I'll take you to the. I'll show you the great. Um, gosh, I can't. Oh, hospitality suites. They do
okay.
an awesome job in their hospitality suites. I spend about half my time there on the weekend. So
Yeah,
Jennifer
that's
Chandler,
like
Northwest, you know, Bree, and then the Eaton High School as well. Tremendous jobs. I love going because I get to eat. So, oh goodness, Terri, thanks very much for helping us get kicked off here. Looking forward to visiting with more coaches and finding out more information. So, have a great rest of your summer. And somehow, some way, even when I was in Austin, I saw you a lot during the year. I'm now in Granbury, which is just south of Fort Worth. I'm sure I'm going to see a lot this year again.
yes, of course. I'm looking forward to it.
And I want to see that hat. Even if you don't wear it, I need to see the flannel hat, okay? Come on.
All right, I'll carry it on my backpack or something. Yeah.
All right, Terri Wade, thank you for your time. We'll talk to you soon.
All right. Thank you.